Welcome to my channel. Try to hear the latest story.
She once swore up and down that she never wanted children. Not now, not ever. I nodded and said, "Same here." Then I discovered prenatal vitamins in her coat and messages to her old flame that read, "I want to have your baby. He's the one who actually deserves it, not this guy." When I showed her the proof, she gave a little smirk and said, "Well, Trevor does have the better DNA anyway." I didn't scream, didn't beg. I simply forwarded every screenshot to her parents and to his wife. Quick note, guys, only about 8% of the people watching right now are actually subscribed, and the channel has been completely plateaued for weeks. If these stories help you or entertain you even a little, please smash that subscribe button. It means the world. Thank you. My name is Brian, 33 years old, and 3 weeks ago my entire view of the woman I was living with shattered into 1,000 pieces. I had been with Rachel, 28, for just under 2 years. We met at a mutual friend's wedding where she spent the entire reception ranting about how marriage and babies were nothing more than outdated social cages designed to keep people small. She told everyone within earshot that her career came first and that motherhood would never be part of her story. Music to my ears. I wasn't anywhere near ready for fatherhood either. We stayed up until sunrise that night talking about how rare it was to find two people who genuinely wanted to stay child-free. 6 months ago, she moved into the house I own. Life was smooth. High-pressure jobs, spontaneous weekend trips, plenty of personal space. The no kids ever topic came up constantly, and she never wavered. "I'm simply not wired for motherhood, Brian. Never have been, never will be. A baby would torch everything I've built." 3 weeks ago, I was switching laundry loads and felt something hard in the pocket of her winter coat. Pulled out a bottle of folic acid, except it wasn't the regular drugstore kind. It was the high-dose prenatal version, clearly marked, recommended for women preparing for conception. The bottle was already a quarter gone. The label showed it came from an upscale fertility center, not CVS. I put it back exactly as I found it. Told myself there had to be a reasonable explanation, maybe anemia, maybe something medical. That same evening, we were on the couch streaming a show when her phone buzzed on the coffee table. The preview popped up, "Trevor Redheart, dying to see you tomorrow." She snatched the phone lightning fast. But I'd already seen the heart emoji next to the name of her college ex she'd sworn was long-buried history. Who's Trevor? Just a colleague. We're finalizing a presentation tomorrow. Funny. Trevor works for a completely different company on the other side of the city. She left early Friday morning claiming back-to-back meetings and that she'd probably be home late. After her car pulled away, I noticed she'd left her MacBook open on the kitchen island, still logged into everything. I swear I wasn't trying to spy, but the messaging app was wide open and the pin chat was with, of course, Trevor. What I read turned my blood ice cold. Rachel, 2 weeks earlier, picked up the prenatal stack from the clinic today. Doc says if I start the regimen this cycle day 3, next week is perfect. Trevor. Sarah's gone almost the entire month for work. Timing couldn't be better. Rachel. Once I'm pregnant, I'll just tell Brian it was a birth control failure and see which way he leans. If he wants to keep it, I'll ride it out until I have an exit strategy. If he freaks, I'll come clean and move straight in with you. Trevor. She still has no clue? Rachel. You said yourself she never checks your phone. Relax. And honestly, I want your baby, not his. Brian doesn't deserve to pass on his genes anyway. I kept scrolling, feeling sicker by the second. Later messages from the previous week. Rachel, tested the waters tonight. Asked Brian what he'd do if I got pregnant by accident. He said we're stable enough that he'd probably keep it. He bought the whole concerned boyfriend act. Hook, line, and sinker. Trevor. LMAO, poor dude has zero idea. Rachel, he really doesn't. And let's be real, Trevor has the superior genetics by a mile. Taller, sharper, more driven. Our future kid is going to thank me for picking the premium father. I was nothing more than a walking ATM and a sperm backup plan that was never actually in the running. I photographed every page of the chat, closed the laptop, and went to work like a zombie. Friday night, she rolled in just before 11 p.m. looking flushed and triumphant. Ugh, meetings ran forever. I'm wiped. How was your day with Trevor? She froze for half a second. Fine. Just boring specs and spreadsheets. 13 straight hours of spreadsheets? It was intensive. Saturday morning, I decided direct was the only route left. Rachel, are you actively trying to conceive right now? Her face drained of color. What? No, why would you even? I placed the prenatal bottle on the counter. Found these from a fertility clinic. That's just high-dose folic acid for my energy levels, the doctor. I slid my phone across with the screenshots already open. She stared at the evidence for a long, silent minute. Then the mask slipped completely. A slow, icy smirk spread across her face. How long have you been going through my private messages? Long enough to know you've been trying to get another man's baby while living rent-free in my house. She actually shrugged. So what? So what? That's all you've got. Brian, people evolve. I met someone with a higher ceiling. Simple. He's married. What, going to leave his wife for you? We're being discreet until he can manage that part. I laughed in pure disbelief. So the master plan was to get knocked up, pass the kid off as mine, and hope I'd raise it? Plan A or Plan B, depending on your reaction. Either way, I end up with the outcome I want, Trevor's child. And you're just openly admitting you think his genes are superior? She rolled her eyes like I was slow. Come on, be objective. You're stable, you pay the mortgage on time, great provider traits. But father material? Let's be honest, you're not top-shelf stock. Trevor is. Our kids would have every advantage. That was the moment any remaining feeling died. I walked away mid-sentence. She left that afternoon to stay with Qley for the weekend. We both knew where she was really going. Time to move. Update 1. 1 week later, the comments on the last post gave me the final push I needed to stop second-guessing myself. After Rachel left on Saturday, I printed every damning message, built a full dossier, and dug up everything I could on Trevor. Turns out his wife Sarah is a flight attendant. Explains all the work travel Rachel kept mentioning. Sarah's Instagram is public and filled with lovey-dovey couple photos, including several captions about excited to start our family soon. Perfect irony. Sunday morning, I drove to Rachel's parents' house. They're a very traditional church every Sunday couple who still think their little girl hung the moon. Her mom opened the door beaming. Brian, Rachel didn't say you were stopping by. Actually, Linda, I need to speak with you and Robert about something serious regarding your daughter. I handed them the printed chat logs. Robert's face went from curious to stone in 30 seconds. Linda had to sit down halfway through page 2. This has to be some kind of misunderstanding, Linda whispered. Rachel has always said children would ruin her life. She told me the exact same thing for 2 straight years. Robert kept reading, jaw clenched. When he reached the superior genes part, he actually muttered, "Lord have mercy." They thanked me for having the courage to tell them the truth, apologized on her behalf, and promised a come-to-Jesus meeting with their daughter that night. Next, I tracked down Sarah. A few polite phone calls to the airline's corporate office, and I had her on the line Monday morning while she was between flights. "Sarah, you don't know me, but my name is Brian, and I believe your husband Trevor is having an affair with my live-in girlfriend." Dead silence. Then, "One moment. I'm stepping into a crew room." 20 minutes and one emailed evidence packet later, she came back sounding like controlled fury. He admitted it the second I showed him the messages. Said it just happened. "I'm so sorry you're finding out this way. Don't be. I'm already on the phone with a divorce attorney. Thank you, Brian." Tuesday morning, Rachel showed up at the house with her overnight bag, ready to waltz back in. Except I'd changed the lock Sunday night, and every belonging she owned was in neatly labeled boxes on the front porch. She lost it, called me screaming, threatened to call the police for an illegal eviction. I reminded her that her name is on exactly 0 paperwork and that she was free to explain to the officers why she believed she had squatter's rights in her ex-boyfriend's house. 10 minutes later, her parents called asking to speak with me. I told them everything Sunday. The line went completely silent. Update 2 weeks later, Rachel's carefully curated life has detonated in spectacular fashion. Her parents sat her down Sunday night. She tried the "you're emotionally distant, Trevor was just comforting me" routine, then downgraded it to "it was only hypothetical dirty talk." They didn't buy a word and told her she was no longer welcome to move back home until she got her life in order. They also refused to spot her first and last for a new apartment. Sarah served Trevor Monday evening. He's already out of the house and living in an extended stay off the interstate. Wednesday, Rachel tried to stage a scene at my office. Security walked her out while she screamed that I'd ruined her family. I reminded her, loud enough for the lobby to hear, that she did that all by herself. Thursday, her best friend Qley called me. Rachel had asked to crash on her couch and spun some tale about misread messages. I sent Qley the same PDF. Qley called back an hour later. "Yeah, she's not staying here." Final update: 7 weeks later, Rachel is currently sleeping on an air mattress in the living room of 2 coworkers she barely knows. Word spread through the extended family grapevine. Even her favorite aunt told her not to come for Christmas. Trevor ghosted her the moment Sarah kicked him out. Turns out secret side babies are only fun when there's 0 consequence. 2 weeks ago, Rachel texted me claiming she's pregnant and it could technically be yours. I offered to pay for an amniocentesis and make the results public. Shockingly, she stopped responding. Ran into her mom at the grocery store last week. Linda looked mortified but stopped me anyway. "Brian, we're still reeling. We raised her better than this. Nobody saw it coming, Linda. Not even me, and I lived with her. You handled it with more grace than most men would have. She lost a good one. As for me, the house is quiet again. My bank account is mine again. And 3 weeks ago, I met Jennifer at an indie bookstore. She's a middle school teacher with her own apartment, 0 baby fever, and when she says it, I actually believe her. The sweetest revenge wasn't dramatic screaming matches or revenge porn or any of that noise. It was simply shining a bright light on the truth and stepping aside while gravity did the rest. Rachel wanted elite genetics and a secret future with a married man. She got a deadbeat hiding in a cheap hotel and every bridge she ever had reduced to ashes. Sometimes the universe hands you the perfect karma. You just have to be willing to mail a few screenshots.